Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. My name's Kayla, 1/4 of LoveCast. I'm a BL content creator, I guess you could call me that. Usually hanging out over here on the podcast. Also have my own channel that I sometimes post on, emphasis on sometimes. I do some Patreon stuff as well, but mostly I'm just lurking on social media.
I am Alexa, also 1/4 of LoveCast. About me, outside of LoveCast, you probably just see me on Twitter crying over Jimmy C, and I feel you linger in the air. So, other than that, the only other thing about me is I'm very gay. That's the only other relevant trait that I have. So, rounded out with that.
I'm also 1/4 of LoveCast. Shocker. So yeah, the podcast was sort of like a brainchild, and it has been my therapy, my life, my everything for the last couple of years. Other than the podcast, I don't do much social media. Like, I'm there, but I don't use it. I just jump on the podcast social media. I do write a lot, fanfics and my own stuff, and we'll see if it ever comes to light.
I'm Heather. I'm the 4th person in the 1/4 of LoveCast. If you can't tell by my accent, I'm Aussie. We are actually quite a international podcast. We've got Pixie in Norway, me in Australia, and Kayla and Alexa all the way up in the US. Up for me, probably down or to the side for some other people. Tell you about myself. Oh my god, I can't sell myself. I can't talk about myself in a way that's like relevant. I foster kittens.
She's the crazy cat lady.
I'm the crazy cat lady. Yeah, I'm the crazy cat lady. The cat lady of LoveCast. I guess you can kind of call me a content creator. I do the podcast. I help run the behind the scenes of podcasts. We all do. Oh my god, what else do I do?
You keep
I
us
don't do
organized,
much, but I do a lot.
You made a BL, Heather.
Oh yeah, shit! I made a BL. I produced a BL. Sorry, I told you I can't sell myself for the life of me, and I work in marketing. So like, what the fuck? Oh Jesus! Yep. So I I made and produced a BL with one of my best friends, Casey Williams, who lives in New Zealand. We made it for TikTok. So we made it for the TikTok platform. It's called Ships in the Night. You can find us on TikTok. Ships in the Night BL, I believe, is our handle.
I think my contribution to the world of BL is probably the commentary that I have done that covers like that intersection of BL and social issues and just trying to educate people on things like LGBTQ plus history, cultural differences, and just media criticism in general as it relates to BL. And not always like super serious stuff either. Sometimes just contributing a little joke or two. But I do think my contribution is just like trying to spread information to let people know things.
Okay, well, my contribution is being very controversial. That is a double-edged sword, honestly. Like, I might have a point sometimes, and I might agree that sometimes I haven't thought things through, and that's where these other people come in. So, but I think it's very important that creators, especially like in the BL sphere, are more open about the problems and the controversies, and like there's open discussions and opinions being put out there. It's better to discuss things and disagree than just shut up because you're afraid. So I'm just here just saying what I mean.
I don't know. If I was thinking about my personal contribution, I don't really know if I do much besides being someone who's been chronically online in fandom for like as long as I can remember. But I guess thinking about it similarly to Kayla, I think in terms of my place in LoveCast, I tend to approach things from a perspective of social issues. I'm largely informed by my own personal identity as queer, black, fat, living in America. I think I try and use my identities and also separate myself from my Americanness, like you mentioned, and kind of inform my discussions around BL that way. But I also answered in terms of LoveCast as an entity. And from that perspective, I said I think we've created a space for all fans, but largely for international audiences to join in on BL discussions, reviews, and interviews that are catered to their listening and viewing. And like, not to toot our own horns, but like we were one of the first like online video podcast situations to kind of do English interviews with a lot of BL actors. So I think that is something that we can be proud of as LoveCast.
I can say, adding on to what Alexa said, because we already know that I can't sell myself. So I kind of took it from the LoveCast aspect and like what LoveCast kind of contributes to the world of BL. And I feel like I can probably speak for all of us when I say I feel like we try to be a bit of a bridge between BL industry and into fandom. And we try to create content that is engaging for interfans, both from just an entertainment perspective, but also from a perspective that makes you think. So our podcast episodes sometimes are just fun and we're there for a good time, and sometimes the topics are a lot more serious, require a bit more thought, and usually has differing opinions within that episode, so we can kind of create a bit more discussion and shed light on certain issues. I guess the other thing is, like Pixie was saying, when we do our interviews and stuff like that, yes, we want to be entertaining, but we also want to continue to be that bridge and continue to ask certain questions. So we try to balance things with a level of fun and a level of seriousness, a level of, I guess, trying to get to know the person behind the like the actor, or like the person behind the director, or their online presence, as well as diving a little bit deeper into what makes someone want to create the content that they create, or be in the industry that they're in, or even so far as diving into what your techniques were when you were putting together your character, or what your techniques are when you're putting together a story. Why do you film in a certain way? How do you approach a story like this? Why are you wanting to create this content and put it out into the world? So we like to be here for a good time. We always like to have fun. That's like fandom 101. We're all here for fun, but we like to have that like serious aspect and create a little bit more of a like a peek behind the curtain type of content. Yeah.
Like, honestly, pandemic and luck.
Yeah. So Pixie and I were in a Discord server, a BL Discord server together. We were like on the staff team in that server, and we would engage in a lot of discussions, and
I would ask Alexa a lot of questions that I needed answers to, and she was the best one at answering politely and with like she explained it so well, and I'm just like, I can talk to you. Like, please explain
Yeah.
these hard questions to me.
Yeah, so then one day Pixie messaged me. It was like November of 2020, so still like height of pandemic times. And she was like, do you want to do a BL podcast with me? Not something I ever thought about doing, but I was like, well, I have nothing else to do with my life, so might as well do it. So we started it in January 2021. It was me and Pixie and another co-host at the time. Yeah, and we initially brought Kayla on as a guest because we really appreciated their commentary videos, and we kind of wanted to talk to them about some of the topics she'd covered in her videos in the past. And then eventually they started coming back to join us for more and more episodes, and Kayla was basically like an honorary host.
Yeah, Coco, who was originally with us, her work load was so crazy because she worked within healthcare in the pandemic, so she was the only one that was busy of us. So
yeah,
so it's sort of just naturally like we kept asking Kayla back for when Coco didn't have time, and then just like it just didn't fit for Coco, so Kayla came on. And I originally asked Kayla before Coco, but Kayla ghosted me. I'm just
Oh, I didn't know that.
I take a long time to respond if I do, especially if it's a DM situation or it's a text
And a stranger,
message.
I guess.
Yeah. We did not know each other beforehand. I had seen their videos on YouTube and then just like, okay, I'll try Kayla.
yeah. So yeah, and that was like Kayla came on. They were, open to joining us as a full-time host, and then after a couple months of that, we realized we were really struggling with keeping ourselves together and organized and doing what we needed to do. So we put out a call for initially like basically a production assistant to come on and kind of help us behind the scenes. And that's where Heather came in. I think she was maybe the first or second person we talked to in that.
She was overqualified.
Yeah.
To the extremes.
I don't know if we ever told you this, Heather, but we interviewed everyone and we didn't have to think at all.
Yeah.
We were like,
There was no
Heather.
concept.
There was no competition.
Yeah,
I'm telling you right now.
Not at all.
Why is everyone stroking my ego today? Like, oh my god.
Yeah, this is Heather's show.
No.
But yeah, so
Oh,
Heather came
guys.
on as our PA and helped us get our lives together. And then I guess mid last year, we kind of had a discussion about Heather, stepping in more to be like part of she was already part of the core team, but like, taking more of her place in the video. She was hopping in to join with interviews and stuff when some of us weren't available. So like we kind of sat down and we're like, Heather basically already is a host, so why keep calling her a PA when that's not what she is?
Yeah.
And so we kind of like delved into this 4-person team, which is what we call ourselves now, and that's where we're sitting at right now. So yeah.
The way I was able to pinpoint it and do the math was I Googled when the anime Gravitation had its US release, because that was the first like BL yaoi thing I have in my memory. So I based it on that, and yeah, it's really crazy that I don't know, like 20 years ago, my mom was just like watching my mom watch this show, and I was like, oh, what is this show? And then because the lore is that my mom is a BL fan, so that's how I came to be a BL fan. It's the generational BL fan.
For me, it has not been 20 years, but it has been nearly 10. So I watched my first BL in 2016, which was 8 years ago at this point, which is wild to think about. But I don't think I really like got into the fandom, like engaging more actively with like BL as a fandom until like 2017ish, but my first one I watched was back in 2016, and that was when I kind of had my interest peaked in it.
Mine was the same as Kayla. I found Gravitation, and that was 18 years ago. But yeah, I didn't know like live action BLs wasn't before 2019 when Tharn Type came out.
Orin High School Host Club, that was my I found that when I was a teenager. But live action BL kind of came from my love of K-dramas, and it developed from there. I found K-dramas when I was a teen. Found that this like romantic genre that I was watching was exactly what I needed at the time, but it wasn't queer enough. Went looking for queer content and stumbled upon Takumi-kun, the Japanese Takumi-kun series, the Japanese BL movie series, which came out, the first movie came out in 2007, but that's not when I stumbled upon it. I think I stumbled upon it when I was about 2011. I think I graduated high school at that point. So it was like 2010, 2011. I kind of stumbled upon that, and that basically started a bit of a YouTube like, what is this? What is this thing that I'm watching? What is yaoi? What is BL? What is da-da-da-da? Watching little bits and pieces, and then, yeah, stumbled into the Thai BL stuff with Lovesick. Going back from what I was just saying, I was looking for more queer content because at first I jumped into K-dramas because I was bored of like Aussie TV, some American TV that we were getting. It was very, just the way the romances would go or the way the story was told, it was just not it. Found in K-dramas, it was a lot more romantic and it was a lot more fantastical and the stories were more interesting. But it wasn't queer enough. Didn't fully realize I was looking specifically for queer content when I started looking for queer content, but that's kind of where I was, that's where I was heading. Found Takumi-kun and was like, there's issues with this, but I'm kind of into this. Why am I so into this? And I'm like, oh, I think I'm a little queer. I think there's some things going on here. Yeah. I was like, boys kissing. I like that. Go and look at like girls kissing. Girls kissing. I think I like that too a little bit. Then delved into the queer content and was like, okay, I think this type of storytelling, this like really sweeping romance that basically is the underlining story, the driving aspect of this story, in all types of BL, there's always this romance that drives the story. That is something that I love. Absolutely love. And so that's kind of what drew me in.
I would say my route was pretty similar to Heather's. I was active in the K-drama fandom for a lot of the same reasons, and I was really active in the K-drama fandom on Tumblr. So I'd seen like a couple of Korean queer projects that existed, like Night Flight and The Lover, and things like that. And I was kind of just scrolling through some type of like Asian drama related tag, and I saw a screen cap from the short Gray Rainbow starring Nut and Karn, and I was just like, this looks very beautiful, whatever the screen cap is. I don't remember exactly what it was. I really liked the dialogue that was on it, and you know, whoever had reblogged it or whatever, or who put it on the dash was, you know, said a lot of good things about it. So I googled it and saw it was on YouTube, watched it. It broke my heart, but I was very interested in the queerness of it all. And kind of from there, I think that put Thai drama in general on my radar. And then a little bit further down the line, I discovered like Sodus and Lovesick, and eventually like Together With Me, which was what really propelled me into the fandom side of things.
I don't think I ever really knew why I was drawn to them, but I think it has something to do with like, I never really felt like I fit into a very feminine world. I've never thought of myself as anything other than a girl, right? But I I'm more drawn to like masculinity, like for myself to like fashion and everything. Like I prefer like a more masculine way, kind of. So seeing a romance, like I've always loved romances, but I couldn't like, I had issues with usually the female characters in straight romances. And I couldn't like, it annoyed me mostly. So I found something with BL that I didn't get anywhere else. And I just, like, it should have been a light bulb when I was younger, that I was so drawn to queer stories. But here we are, like, over 30 and then having the realization. But yeah, it's fine.
Same thing as Heather. I think my first live action BL was Takumi-kun. And literally at the time, I was drawn to it because there was nothing else to watch. Like, I had already been a BL fan. There wasn't a selection, really. Even Takumi-kun, like, I didn't even like it that much. But it's like one of those things you latch onto because there is absolutely nothing else. And then, like, flash forward to me discovering on a whim Love by Chance. And I feel like that is when it finally hit me, where I was like, oh my gosh, like, there are live action BLs. And I noticed, like, I feel like there was a shift in, I guess, I don't know if it's like the way I viewed BL or just like an epiphany of being like, oh, like, BL means a lot to me, not just because like I find it entertaining, but because I've never seen like gay Asian representation, period. And so like seeing that in Love by Chance was very much a shell shock and something that got me, I think, instantly hooked first on like Thai BL, and then of course we've seen BL really grow in all different countries. But yeah, I think that for me was the draw, was just being like, wow, this exists, and it existing in general actually means a lot to me, and it's a plus that I think it's fun and cute.
I listed 3. I said friends to lovers, fake dating, and one I know I share with someone else on the team, soulmates. Those are my top 3.
I wonder who. The only one I wrote down was
Kayla.
soulmates. That's the only one I wrote down.
Kayla and I have very similar tastes.
Yeah. I'm sure there are a lot that I could list off, but yeah, the soulmates will always hit different. Just the idea of two people being made for each other and the universe working to get them together is, yep.
Yeah. Mine is enemies to lovers. It's always been that. But I also discovered when we were recording yesterday that secret crush also is kind of mushed in there. So those two definitely.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, originally I thought that my top BL trope that I will always forever love was enemies to lovers, and it is. Except I discovered that the reason I loved I thought enemies to lovers was my fave was because I actually like the secret crush trope so much more, and the bickering that comes out of sometimes like an enemies to lovers and secret crush trope together. And then my other one that I just will always watch, I don't care the quality of the series, is forced cohabitation. Yeah. So secret crush and forced cohabitation together with a little bit of enemies to lovers sprinkled in. Give it to me. Evil female character.
Yes, that. Yes. I have one that's more popular, maybe like in manga more than actually live action. Mpreg. It's basically because I do not
Bite you,
find
Pixie.
being pregnant in any form very sexy. It's horrible. Don't. Yeah, there's been discussions of
We'll
it.
see what Pit
Give
Babe
me
does.
more
We'll see what Pit
Omegaverse.
Babe does.
Yeah.
Give me more Omegaverse.
Yeah, I agree on the Megaverse. Just we don't need MPreg. We don't need anyone pregnant. Honestly, like
fine.
no one needs to be pregnant.
I think it's fine.
Yeah, no, it's just a personal ick from having been a pregnant person twice.
Fair.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
I said, I knew a lot of people that you'd already talked to and said the evil ex-girlfriend trope, and I figured someone would hear too. So mine is very second season specific, the unnecessary cheating conflict that always comes in a second season of a show. My most hated.
I'd put cheating too. No explanation. Although I will say I think there are some instances where it kind of works out, like in Love Mechanics. But it has
Yeah.
to be
Lauren, I promised you the moon.
It has
Yeah, we
to be
haven't
very
watched that,
specific.
Heather.
I fucking watch it.
Guys, this is not the time for that discussion.
Sorry, yeah. Sorry, Kayla. Sorry,
Yeah.
Love Mechanics, yeah?
Cheating. Generally.
Yeah, cheating. Yeah, I agree. First and Countdown.
Sensations.
First and Countdown, the only shit that I'm like, I like singular actors. It's the only one where I like both.
My top ship has always been Max and Till. But lately, Jimmy C are really gunning for that #1 spot. So, things are getting a little bit controversial in Alexa's favorite ship order list these days.
Xenonu. The top one. Also, Net James, I'm ready for them to start dominating. I need them to get more popular, get more opportunities, because they're climbing up there too. So, wanted to shout them out as well.
Mine are Bilkin and PP Crit. They're my top. Earth Mix, I love. And Wayne and Chunchi. Technically, not a ship, but are a ship.
They still
I
do a lot
fucking
together.
I'm sorry, I don't know how much I'm allowed to swear. I really, really love them. Okay?
Okay, I was thinking about this earlier. I would be Choi Yuna from Semantic Error. It's the girlfriend in Semantic Error. I love her.
My answer came from a very different place. I was trying really hard to think about someone who I would want to be and why, and I landed on Pat from Step by Step because I want Jang for myself.
That is so valid. That is so
Always on the Jeng agenda.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's really funny. I honestly would love to be Kua in Cutie Pie because unlike Kua, I would not be bothered by my rich spouse working all the time. As long as I can cash the check, and be a trophy
True.
spouse, I'm fine. So I also
Trophy
felt
spouse,
like
yes.
out of most characters in dramas, he doesn't go through that much. Like I don't want to struggle. I don't want to have major conflict. So I would rather fight myself internally and then realize everything's fine because I'm rich.
Valid.
So valid. I couldn't decide, so I was like, nah, I'm not answering that one because I want to be everyone
Fair.
and everything all of the time.
Everywhere, everything, all at once.
Exactly.
I don't really know, but in general, trailers or hype online or basically what they tell me to watch.
Except for fucking It's A, which no one will watch, and I will not stop yelling.
Yeah,
Okay, done.
no, but the train left the station.
Guys.
I know.
I would say like Pixie, I'm largely influenced by what I see people talking about online in the Discord server, things I see like the general community or like my friends or mutuals are really excited about. And then there's also always like certain actors or companies who I will always at least like try to watch their projects for, because they're people I really enjoy or typically do projects that I really like. So, you know, companies like D-Hub House, I'm probably always gonna at least check out what they have, and I usually end up liking it. So, but mainly it's being influenced by the hype and what I'm seeing people talking about online.
These days, I feel like I choose what show to watch based on how many tropes it has that I like. Because then that's like a given that I'm going to like it pretty much. So something has a supernatural theme, I'm watching it. Something is like a period piece, I'm watching it. Like I have like very specific things that I really like seeing play out. It doesn't mean it's always going to be executed well, but still we'll give it the chance. And then I have like maybe like one or two people who know exactly the type of show that I would like, so they'll recommend it to me, and pretty much like all the time I end up liking the show. So mix of recommendation and just knowing, I think intrinsically going into it what I'm already gonna like.
And for me, really quickly, everything that everyone said, but also accessibility and timing. That's true for me.
Yep.
Because I find that I have such a minimal amount of time to actually be able to watch something that it needs to be accessible, really easily accessible. And usually I would like it to either be airing while I have the time to watch it, or be pretty much done so I can binge as much as I can within the time frame that I have to watch stuff, and then can come back to it. But yeah, so kind of a mix of what everyone said, and then accessibility and timing.
I would put like in place a system for more original scripts. Like everything we're getting is just from books, adapted from books or cartoons, like or manhwas or whatever. I want more originally like written scripts that were meant for TV or movie.
I would say I would love to afford actors more autonomy, just to kind of try different things both in acting and outside of acting without it risking harming their career or the support that they receive, which can get a lot deeper into overhauling the entire fandom structure, but I'll just leave it as affording actors more autonomy in the decisions they make.
It goes back to something I've mentioned a couple times recently, but I think the BL industry can really benefit from sensitivity training in the way that the K-pop industry could, because some of the cultural insensitivity that goes into like putting down darker skin tones, putting down curly hair, stuff like that is like really horrible, and I've been just catching it so much in recent shows, and I just feel like BL has become so global at this point that ignorance is unacceptable.
Mine was literally exactly what Alexa said. Like actually literally what she said.
Twin braining. Heather and I twin brain often.
We twin brain a lot, yeah.
Semantic error to my star only friends.
Mine are Until We Meet Again, I Feel You Linger in the Air, and Blooming. How much do Kayla and I share on our
Yeah, how
list?
much do Kayla and Alexa overlap?
Number 1, Until We Meet Again. Number 2, I Feel You Linger in the Air. Number 3, Cutie Pie.
It's I Promised You the Moon, or 1, because it's project. Make Our Days Count. Semantic Error, Bad Buddy. They were kind of like on the same level as well.
I would actually have them start on old-fashioned cupcake.
Oh, that's a good one.
I think it's soft enough to be like a great like entry point, but it's also like it has a lot of feelings, and it's just it's a great start. Yeah.
Yeah. I said Bad Buddy or My School President are probably two I would go to.
I said My School President.
I had Semantic Error or History 3 Trapped.
Good ones as well. I can speak for Collective LoveCast. You can search us on YouTube, LoveCast BL Podcast, LoveCast BL Podcast, even just LoveCast will probably pop up. And then on pretty much every social media, we're at LoveCast Podcast. And we also have a Discord server, so you can come find us and chat more in depth with us there if you're interested in that as well.
Well, we do have a lot of good stuff coming up. Like Heather did a trip to Thailand without us. Can you imagine? But
I invited you!
but there's a lot of good stuff that's coming out as soon as we like get the time to edit it. So
Thank you for inviting us. I'm
Yes.
super excited about DramaLlama and can't wait to see what you guys have to offer.
yeah, same.
Bye-bye.
Bye!
I did the math the other day.
Oh, I love that.
It's been like 20 years.
Damn.
Like 20 years.
But you're like
I
22.
used-
What do you mean?
Well,
Just
okay,
came out
there
the room
have
with
been.
the owie book.
That's pretty accurate.
Like the baby
pretty
books were
accurate.
all yaoi.
Yeah.
There's a market.
I mean, they were manga, so pretty close. Yeah, it's actually really funny because I guess that means 7 years of my life were BL lists, which is not much in the grand scheme of life.
Gray Rainbow eviscerated my feelings.
Yeah,
I was
it's quite a end to jump in at.
What a gateway story.
Other people I've interviewed also, if like, I can't answer this, I don't know. So then, alternate question for you, Heather. Of the ships you said that are your favorite, are there any that you would prefer to self-insert?
Oh,
That's good.
No?
Okay, well, we're just gonna make an Earth Heather mix triad. And
I
We'll
would
self-insert
totally-
for you.
Yeah. Actually, I'll just, yeah. Or, yeah.
Sandwich.
Yeah. Sandwich me in between. I'm happy.
we love a sandwich.
They tell me to watch.
Except for fucking It's A, which no one will watch, and I will not stop yelling. Okay, done.
No, but the train left the station.
Guys.
I know.
I mean, I will say it is one of the most beautiful series I've ever seen.
Yeah, I
Just
don't
to put
doubt
that out
it.
there.
I just there's like a mental block.
It's because I'm yelling so much about it.
I will say I did try to watch it. I couldn't get past.
It's all good.